My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Geminis. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general reading of past, present, future, 9 card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. Okay. General card is the 9 of Cups. So let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You get 8 of Cups, 7 of Cups, and 6 of Cups. How about that? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw what happened in your past. You pretty much headed off, in a different direction. Whatever it was, maybe you were just changing course in some kind of career or opportunity or offering or something. Because if we look at, the 7 of Cups, next to it, it's pretty much, that you were heading off towards, some new offerings, different offerings, whatever it may be. And this kind of gave you some kind of nostalgia feeling. Or even, this is pretty much also an offering, that was being presented to you with this could have been, your boss individual, and this could have been you, however it resonates. But I saw that you definitely headed off towards a different direction. And, you pretty much, you will face, options and opportunities with the 7 of Cups. It's like, trying out different flavors from different chalices and stuff like that. So this was kind of like thinking, okay, I'm going to try something way different. And this kind of gave you a really, good, positive feeling even about an incident that took place before this past moment. Remarkable. And, I love the fact, that you did head off because you knew that there was something, way different out there for you, my beloved Geminis, man, woman, whoever's watching. But I just find this remarkable because not many humans get this opportunity. But if you're one of the very lucky few that actually, gets opportunities and stuff like that, and all you have to do is just change course, amazing. I love that. Wonderful. Now, current times, you get the 5 of Swords, which is all about overcoming some kind of obstacle. 4 of Swords, about needing to rest up. Oh dear. And you get the 3 of Swords. 5, 4, 3. Why? Okay. Yeah, what I'm more or less seeing here is, it's like, okay, you had to overcome some kind of, or you're overcoming some kind of obstacle right now. So, whatever, this kind of offering, and, the transition from, this beautiful, past offering of whatever it was, you are kind of overcoming some kind of obstacle. And this is one of your cards, next to the 4 and 3 of Swords and stuff like that. But yeah, I wonder about, this, I mean, it's not really conflict or competition like the 5 of Wands. However, this is also about, that there was definitely, some kind of, conflict, but you definitely won something. And you're pretty much resting up, but yet, you are suffering, pretty soon with heartbreak, or maybe in current times you are suffering with heartbreak. I wonder what could have contributed to this moment I'm wondering if this was maybe like, that you and a friend or family member were actually, applying for the same job of some kind, and yet, you won, but yet, you ended up with the 3 of Swords, which is one of the cards I pulled for the vampire who killed me off. However, the thing is, I want to know more about this this thing. I mean, it's really good to rest up with the 4 of Swords, which I think is good because, it's like you overcame something, you rested up, but yet you probably woke up or you're dealing with some kind of current heartbreak situation. Now, this could also, yeah, I mean, I'm not sensing traveling, though, unless traveling, what works out for you, but in current times, I need to know more about this before I can really give out a way better idea. Because in the future, you get 2 of Swords. Okay, 3, 2. Okay, the only thing we're missing is Ace of Swords. Then we're getting the Emperor reversed. It's Aries card and Taurus reversed. Okay, or Hierophant reversed. Yeah, okay, what I'm kind of getting here is, it's like, okay, this heartbreak is causing you, to want to rethink something. With the Emperor reversed, it's kind of not really per se control freak, but it's like feeling like your motivation, your fiery passion is down or something. And then, you feel like, that you're not, fully committed, or you don't have the motivation to want to keep going with this job. So obviously something, I wonder if it could have been a work-related conflict or something, and then it left you kind of heartbroken of some kind. I mean, I hope, you weren't heading off towards something that you were given false hopes and promises for. And then, you ended up in the situation, and here it's kind of like, well, maybe the Emperor reverse is kind of like maybe a negative boss, a person, and then with the Hierophant, because the Hierophant upright is kind of like a marriage kind of card, but what's another word for marriage is commitment. So the thing is, well, once it's upright, it's kind of like everything is just working out. We'll share beliefs, values, everything, traditions, and stuff like that. But since it came in reverse, it's kind of like thinking, I need to make a decision about my future because, this whole situation is just really, kind of draining me. And I feel no commitment or any kind of, motivation to want to keep going. I want to look into this with clarification. Because for the Eight of Cups in the past, you get Ace of Skulls. So, you were heading off towards a new beginning of whatever it was. Wonderful, amazing, and congratulations on whatever this opportunity and option was being presented to you in the past. Because, the Ace of Pentacles is like a new job offer. And that's why, it's like, it's really great, that you were actually being presented with something, which I think is remarkable because a lot of humans, I don't really know exactly, your age or your situation, but a lot of humans, when they apply for jobs, they obviously constantly get rejected and stuff like that. It's like the human told me about how he was also applying for like hundreds of jobs practically like every month or so, and to no avail. It's like he would just be rejected and stuff like that. And then eventually something did work out for him in his favor, and then it's like, and then he eventually found me. Okay, I'm not really much of a boss person, but he more or less takes good care of me, and I take good care of him in return and stuff like that. But I love the fact that you were definitely heading off towards this new opportunity, because with the Seven of Cups, Daughter of Scepters, it's like the Page of Wands. So you pretty much, you were heading off towards this, opportunity and stuff like that. Or what I more or less is that this, that these opportunities more or less have led you to go on this voyage of whatever it may be. Interesting. That's what I'm more or less getting, is that maybe you did have to travel somewhere in the past, and maybe that's kind of, what could have also contributed to the Three of Swords. I don't know. I'm kind of getting that I've already done a similar, like, reading to one of the past zodiac signs. You would have to check out some of my other videos. But the thing is I know that when you're about to travel, for job reasons to, to a different city, state, or country, that's, these people are saying, okay, well, you'll have to travel over to us. And then that is what could also be contributing to problems at home, hopefully not at all. And then heartbreak, because maybe you have to, let go of heartbreak, or maybe you're going through heartbreak. But I see that maybe, you were definitely being offered like some kind of overseas kind of job and stuff like that. Interesting. I want to know more about this. Six of Cups, the Hermit. So you were being offered something, but you had to have some alone time. Okay, I get it. Because sometimes, when you get a job offering of some kind and they say, okay, you're going to have to travel, you're going to have to, we'll relocate over to this, to the city, state, country, whatever it may be. I actually saw you doing like introspection and self-reflection to say, okay, I'm being offered something, but how am I going to approach my family or even friends about this situation? Yeah, that's what I more or less saw. You were definitely, being offered something that looked like kind of an overseas kind of job, but yet, it's like something was kind of keeping you wanting to be confined. You're wanting to have some alone time of thinking, I need to think this through. It's grand and beautiful when you are offered something in any way. But then, once reality kicks in of thinking, but how is it going to, work out in the end for me? It's like, I love being offered, like a gift and stuff like that, but is it actually a rational, a reality gift of some kind, Because with the Five of Swords, you get Ace of Wands. So this is actually an idea that you're pretty much, there seems to be some kind of current conflicts going on. Not really conflicts, but, it's like, you're overcoming some kind of battle and obstacle. And even though you are an air sign, you could have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but the Ace of Wands is kind of like you're putting passion and energy into this idea. So maybe, you overcame something, and here's your beautiful passion that's actually, like a bonfire kind of situation for you. And it's kind of like, we're giving you this, reality idea, of everything is, this is what you want and dream and desire. This is similar to the Star card and similar to the Ace of Swords, but this is about putting energy and, wanting to actually, and confidence and stuff like that, and passion, in this whole combination. Interesting. Four of Swords. Okay, you're resting up because you get the Devil. Ooh. Okay, you could have Capricorn somewhere in your star chart. what I'm getting is here is the devil that's going to be kind of playing tricks on you, or could be, is actually, giving you this kind of unrealistic idea. Because you overcame something, but yet the devil decides to come in because you do get the Three of Swords afterwards. So, it's like maybe this is, we're going through the, rest and relaxation phase, but the devil in other terms, it's also what you desire. Because, it's like, this is like the forbidden fruit kind of situation. It's like thinking, well, it's like I desire this, but is it really going to work out for me? And this is kind of what you're doing is you're still pondering, thinking, is this what I really want? Well, the thing is I don't really know exactly, how long, these job offerings take and last and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's good, to be looking into this combination of what you want, dream, and desire, stuff like that, and make sure that's all just, clear like crystal and stuff like that, and not just thinking, well, it's like I desire this, but, it's like I don't know if it's going to actually work out and stuff like that. Because for the Three of Swords, you get Six of Wands. So, the thing is, there could be some heartbreak, but there's something worth celebrating. So I see that you're actually going to be pursuing this plan and stuff like that, despite that you think that there's heartbreak and there could be pain and suffering involved. But yet this is kind of like, saying, I need to get through this. I need to do it anyway. Yes, it hurts, but yet, it's like this is the silver lining. It's like with, for example, ripping off a banding and stuff like that. It hurts. I know the human, told me a lot of times, and even still in current times, he still does it. I mean, yeah, sometimes you just really have to hear him scream. I'm just kidding. But the thing is, yeah, I just see that this is kind of a silver lining, is that you pretty much know that something is way better, or, that you pretty much just think, okay, I need to kind of get through this moment because I know that this job offering is something worth, celebrating and stuff like that. But why would you get the Two of Swords in the future? Eight of Swords, okay. The thing is, it's like, okay, well, something is definitely worth celebrating, even though it may seem painful and stuff like that. But I'm getting this kind of fear, and I hope it's not the devil that's going to be playing games with you even in the future, is to say, well, it's like, I don't know where to go from here, because, this is also like a lack of motivation and no commitment. So the thing is, I'm kind of sensing that you're feeling worried about the future because you're worried about that you're going to be stuck. The thing is, it's like, it's important during the Four of Swords moment and even in the Hermit phase to do a lot of pros and cons, to weigh out pros and cons, to kind of just say, okay, well, what do I personally want and need and desire? And is it rational, or is it just a daydreamy kind of feeling and stuff like that? If I were to keep, to pursue this overseas job perhaps, or any kind of new job and stuff like that, is that going to, compromise my family, my friends and stuff like that? Is something going to be compromised? So I'm kind of getting, is that in the future, you are worried about making a decision because you feel like you're going to be making the wrong decision that will lead you to feel stuck and confined. Because with the Emperor reversed, you get the Prince of Grails, and this is like the Knight of Cups. So the thing is, it's like, yeah, your passion isn't quite there yet, but you are definitely being offered something. And the thing is, okay, sometimes, you go through moments where you just think, well, my motivation isn't there. It's like similar to the Seven of Wands reversed. It's not like you're protecting and defending and give yourself a reason to move, to keep moving on and stuff like that. But I'm kind of getting it, it's like, yeah, your motivation isn't quite there, but you are definitely being offered, something, or you could be accepting it from this Knight of Cups. But why would you be getting the Hierophant? Okay. Yeah, well, because you get the second Three of Swords. So the thing is, yeah, I would definitely, be weighing out any kind of pros and cons in situation, because, it's like, yeah, well, there's usually a reason why one's motivation isn't there in the first place. It's like your senses are pretty much saying, okay, let's not do this. Let's not go further because it seems pointless. It seems endless. It seems like there's no, yeah, it's all just, seems like that it's just a dead end, for example. And usually, your gut feeling, your senses, your feeling and stuff like that are incredible, are also important to follow, because those are usually warning signs and alarms that are pretty much just telling you to say, don't move just don't move forward, because here's your lack of motivation of no commitment, because there's definitely going to be heartbreak. However, and that's one aspect, but on the other aspect, if you feel like that you have to compromise your personal well-being, my beloved Gemini, man or woman, because you're worried about, your family or friends is kind of, well, being like the devil to say, we're going to keep holding you back. We're going to put all of this unnecessary paper dragons in your mind because, it's just going to be one big nightmare. But nothing ventured is nothing gained. How do you know that? How do they know that, right? So the thing is, it's like, I'm kind of getting is that this is just, worries about the future because, current times you are pretty much, going through, this is kind of like going through a debate of explaining, how passionate and strong this idea is of yours. But yet here's the response of saying, oh no, it's just going to be one big nightmare. And then, it's like you kind of just want to pursue it. But yet, it's like you're kind of worried about the future of thinking, well, what if it just doesn't end up well? Because, it's like they, well, maybe their, arguments are legitimate and stuff like that. But here's you worried about having to make a decision, feeling like you're going to be stuck. And here's, the lack of motivation, even though you are being offered something. And then here's you just thinking, you know what, I'm just not going to do it because I'm just going to be dealing with heartbreak. Well, the decision is 100% up to you, my beloved Gemini, whatever, you want to actually, work towards and stuff like that. I mean, the thing is, it's like this is, your personal reading. So this is not, I mean, unless you have, friends and family, who are also Geminis and stuff like that. But what I mostly, want to let you know is that, this is, this is also your own life as well. So, it's like if other people say, well, how could you do that to my life? My life is going to be compromised. Well, the thing is sometimes that happens. It's like sometimes it happens where one person says, I need to go in this direction because that's what my, that's what my calling is all about and stuff like that. And then the other person has to go a different direction, but it doesn't mean that you guys are splitting up. I mean, especially with modern day technology, that you could still pretty much just, keep communicating with each other and stuff like that. But I would not let any kind of worries or fears hold you back of wondering if you're going to be dealing with the 8 of Swords moment and a 3 of Swords in the future. Okay. Special vampire card. Ooh, the Devil. Yeah, the Devil is going to be playing mind games on you, my beloved Gemini, and I would try to avoid that at all costs in many ways, because, it's like, I don't want you to feel like you're this man or woman that's being confined to just because, your fears are getting the best of you thinking, well, what if I pursue this goal, dream, or desire and stuff like that? Okay, always weigh out everything, don't immediately, assume that I'm always going to be right in any way, but always, just, use your senses to guide you, your gut instinct to just say, okay, what would happen if I do this? What happens if I do that? And stuff like that. Always weigh out pros and cons and see which, which list is longer and better than the other one, stuff like that. Because the Devil is going to try to keep you confined, but you must not allow that to happen in any way. Okay. What does Oracle have for my beautiful Geminis? Oops. Thirst. Oh, speaking of thirst, this makes me thirsty. Okay. Craving, compulsion, and obsession. My beloved Gemini, man, woman, this is my suggestion to you. You crave that beautiful idea. Be very thirsty, metaphorically speaking, of course. But I would definitely, will pursue, what you want and actually crave in this world. Now, the thing is, I wouldn't be obsessed about it or even have, compulsive feelings or thoughts about it. But whatever it may be, it's like, yeah, but of course, what you just, desire, stuff like that, like I even mentioned, desire is different from reality. So maybe, it's like, this could be, definitely your craving and stuff like that, what you crave, but is that really going to be benefiting you in any way and stuff like that? So, but I would definitely be weighing out the pros and cons in any way. If you're craving something and if you're thirsty about something, make sure that it's definitely going to be benefiting you and not just thinking, because, the Devil could also be play mind games with you even in the future to say, okay, since you actually followed your craving and your compulsive feelings and stuff like that and your obsession, the thing is, the Devil could also be, playing games with you as well. So my beloved Gemini, in any way, I would listen to what you personally want and especially feel on the inside. I mean, even though you do get 3 of Swords, sadly, with your heart, but I would just, definitely, weigh out all the options to make sure that everything is just clear and rational and stuff like that. If you think, oh yeah, I'm going to be moving into this new place and it's near all these restaurants and coffee shops, okay, that's what you dream and desire, of course, but is it going to be beneficial? So, I'll leave that part up to you. I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered, because you do get a yes with the Chariot. A no with the Eight of Pentacles reversed. And sadly, a no with the King of Wands reversed. Okay, my beloved Geminis, man, woman, I'm going to have to leave it at this. But if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I just want to thank you guys incredibly so much for joining me and supporting me and also choosing me as your Vampire Tarot Guide reader. I just want to thank you guys incredibly so much for everything. In a few days, I'm going to go back to love rings, so I'm going to go back and forth between general love. But I just want to say how much I love you guys incredibly, and thank you so much for your love and support towards me.